So this one is a little bit more difficult, but bear with me and we'll get through it. This video discusses commas after introductory adverb clauses. In short, the rule states that if there is an adverb clause at the beginning of a sentence, we follow that clause with a comma. Here's an example. After spending the day winning cross-country meets, Max was tired. What's in blue is the adverb clause. In short, also, the second part of the rule, though, if the adverb clause appears at the end of a sentence, we do not use a comma. So let's go back to that first sentence. If we read it in the opposite order, Max was tired after spending the day winning cross-country meets, there would be no comma. Jordan put a lot of effort into her latest social studies assignment because she enjoyed the writing prompt. In this case, what's in blue is an adverb clause, but it appears at the end of a sentence, so we don't use a comma. So maybe we're still confused about adverb clauses, right? So what's an adverb clause? First, it's a dependent clause. As we talked about in class, that's a clause that can't stand alone as a sentence, even though it has a subject and a verb. What's an example of a dependent clause? When I hit the baseball, it has a subject, I, and a verb, hit. But that's a dependent clause, right? Because it can't stand alone. We don't know what happens. Or after she finally saw Star Wars, again, a subject and a verb, but that's a dependent clause. It can't stand alone. Or if the teacher doesn't arrive by 8:20, again, these are all dependent clauses. So what about a dependent clause that acts as an adverb? Still, how do you tell what an adverb clause is? In this case, dependent clauses that act as adverbs are very easy to spot. Why? Because they are introduced by special words known as subordinating conjunctions. I'll provide a list of subordinating conjunctions to you in class, but here are a few examples. So let's look at the ones I underlined, including after, if, and when. Dependent clauses. Remember, when I hit the baseball. That can't stand alone by itself, and it's an adverb because it starts with a subordinating conjunction, when. After she finally saw Star Wars. Again, dependent clause. After is the subordinating conjunction. And if the teacher doesn't arrive by 8:20. Again, dependent clause starts off with a subordinating conjunction, if. So then let's go back to the rules earlier, having established what a dependent clause is and what an adverb clause is. Remember, if the adverb clause comes at the beginning of a sentence, we use the comma. But the adverb comes at the end of the sentence, we do not use a comma. So here's some practice. When I hit the baseball, it didn't go very far. In this case, we have an adverb clause at the beginning of a sentence, so where would the comma go? Right after baseball. After she finally saw Star Wars, she said it was the best movie ever. Oh, there are the commas. Whoops, they came a little late. And I will leave class if the teacher doesn't arrive by 8:20. In this case, do we put a comma in this sentence? We don't, because the adverb clause came at the end of the sentence.